המציאות של מינימום אוכל ותרופות לאוכלוסייה בעזה, שום דבר מזה לא יגיע לחמאס. צה"ל פועל מאז אתמול עם 5 אוגדות ברצועת עזה בעוצמה שלא נראית בראשית המלחמה. והפעם השיטה המבצעית שונה לחלוטין ממה שהיה בעבר. לא עוד פשיטות עם כניסות ויציאות, אנחנו כובשים, מטהרים ונשארים עד להשמדת חמאס. בדרך אנחנו משמידים את כל מה שעוד נשאר מהרצועה, פשוט, כי הכל שם זו עיר טרור אחת גדולה. במסגרת המלחמה צה"ל מניע אוכלוסייה מאזורי הלחימה ולא משאיר אבן על אבן. אני אומר לכם, פשוט תסתכלו על הסרטונים של מה שקורה ברצועת עזה. האוכלוסייה תגיע לדרום הרצועה ומשם בעזרת השם למדינות שלישיות. במסגרת תוכנית הנשיא טראמפ זה שינוי של מהלך ההיסטוריה.
And he had a relationship with Israel that has been, the details of which have been thoroughly suppressed. I mean, it is the big dark hole in American history. And it's amazing, 60 years, they're willing to admit the CIA was involved. They're willing to admit all kinds of things. They don't want to talk about JFK's attitude towards Israel. But it's something I want, if I may just respond to the clip that you just showed earlier. If I could give a historical context, the Zionists in the 1930s were very happy to be known as fascist Zionists or Zionist fascists. Now, obviously, that's not a popular term anymore. But in the 1930s, it was, hey, didn't have a bad rep. They were proud to be fascists. They admired Mussolini a lot. And they admired Mussolini in particular because they liked the way he handled the Ethiopians. And Mussolini was one of the first people, one of the first monsters to do aerial bombardment of civilians. And the Zionists thought that was cool. And they actually went to Italy in large numbers. And they were befriended by Mussolini. And he actually admitted 100 of them, give or take, to the Italian Naval Academy to be trained in military operations. So these guys have been...
The Italian model of the organized crime syndicate, these Italian mobsters, La Cosa Nostra, this is something that the Federal Bureau of Narcotics and the FBI, they only admitted this kind of grudgingly in the 50s, but it was really much more than this. It was really more run by Lansky out of Vegas, and it also relied on the nationwide network of the Teamsters Union. And Hoffa, Jimmy Hoffa, and Meyer Lansky were both Mossad assets, essentially. They both were involved in shipping arms to Israel in 1948. And they, Hoffa visited Israel a number of times. Jimmy Hoffa Jr., he either runs or is a part of the Yitzhak Rabin Foundation today. I mean, this is a history that we have kind of forgotten. We've forgotten who Hoffa was and how RFK went after him. RFK was unique in going after the syndicate. He went after the Vegas crowd. They built up Las Vegas in the 40s to be the recipient, to be a conduit for drug money out of a connection set up in Mexico by Meyer Lansky and what you could call the Jewish mob. You had this network within, protected by the highest echelons of the national security state that protected the organized crime syndicate, and which was functionally a Mossad asset as well, which had implications in that they controlled the National Racing Wire Service, for example. And this was a kind of network of corruption and political corruption throughout the entire country that was essentially put to the service of Mossad if and when it needed to influence American politics. But if you fast forward to today, when they wanted to go after Assange in 2020, there's this Gray Zone article that says when they went after Assange, who did the CIA do to plan his assassination attempt, which they didn't carry out, thankfully, but also to illegally surveil him? Sheldon Adelson and his right. Casino company, which is the biggest contributor to the Republican Party, using casino money from Macau. A lot of it. It's the Sands Company, which is an old Lansky outfit from Las Vegas. And this is all these years later. It's this, we have outsourced a lot of things to Israel. Epstein is another example. It seems the CIA outsourced the sexual blackmail aspect of its operations to Epstein, and that would likely be why he was protected. So Israel is a part of this dark criminal state within a state within a state that is a part of our regime that we just don't understand. And it's really staggering to think of the implications of it. And once JFK was assassinated, RFK never again met with his organized crime unit. Knew that the mobsters had won. And this is really, the U.S. became pretty much a criminal enterprise full stop after that, because nobody could stand up to these people anymore.